Hey everybody, Jeff Williams here with AskJeffWilliams.com. Okay, today I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight on how you change out the radiator on an '04 Jeep Liberty with a 3.7. So let's take a look. The problem with most Jeep Liberties, and all vehicles for that matter, is that the tanks, these are called tanks on the side of the radiator here, are made out of plastic. They used to be made out of brass, and some aftermarkets will make them out of aluminum. But for the most part, all the cars out there are driving around with these plastic tanks. And the problem is that the plastic fractures and breaks, and then you have, as you can see, massive coolant leak here. You can see all this nice coolant coming out here. Or they'll leak around the crimps here. Always. The reason why is because that way they ensure that you come back and buy a new one. Once again, it's all about money. Thanks, Chrysler. Anyway, on this particular model, it has electric cooling fan attached to the shroud. Now, Jeep makes three different types of fans. They make one that has electric fan, they make one with a hydraulic fan, believe it or not, and of course a conventional one that drives off the water pump. But if you have an '04 Jeep Liberty with a 3.7, chances are it's got an electric fan in it. Anyway, to pull one of these guys out, you've got to remove the radiator out by pulling the fan shroud out first. And the trickiest part is this thing right here called the condenser. The condenser is attached by a point, these points down in here. If you can see that, there's a little clip right there. Where my finger's touching, yeah, you can see that. And then over here, there's little clips over here as well. And the tricky part is when you go to pull the radiator out, it's got these rubber boots on the front to direction the air into the condenser. And the boots don't want to let go of the radiator, so it makes it really interesting to pull that out. You're going to want to pull off the top piece here that has the vehicle information on it. That comes off in a single piece. And of course, front grille comes off. And some people will even take this whole bumper assembly off in the front. But if you can manipulate it, you can probably get away with not having to pull the headlight assembly out, which is this big plastic piece here. Once again, 90% of this vehicle is made out of plastic, or the front of it, I should say. So if you get in any kind of front end impact, it's going to fracture like you see here, all these cracks and breaks, because the person who owned this vehicle ran into something, but not very hard, but just enough to fracture the plastic. So if you have a newer Jeep and you want to change the radiator out, that's what's going to happen. If you have, say, one of the Jeeps that have a hydraulic fan in it, those are a lot of fun, and I'll show you how to do that some other day. But I want to show you something else about these vehicles that you might not be aware of, so come on. Most of the doors on these Jeeps, and most vehicles for that matter, have what's called a window regulator inside the door here. And it's what makes the glass go up and down. Well, the problem is that the regulators are made mostly out of plastic. Of course, the motor's made out of metal, but most of the components are plastic in here, and they always seem to fracture and break. And the sad part is you got to replace the entire unit. They don't sell out just the pieces. Well, on this particular model, she said that it wouldn't go up and down, and I saw this cable hanging out as soon as I I pulled it, and I'll show you why exactly. If you take a look inside, if I can get the camera in there, you can kind of, let's see if we can see it. Yeah, that's the little booger right there. He fractures and breaks, you can see that, and that's where that connects to. But those right there, these guys right here, are usually the ones that break first. They're made out of plastic. I don't know if you can see that, it's kind of close. They're made out of plastic and they always seem to break, and that's the guides that slide up and down this rail right here. And when they break, you have to replace the entire assembly inside the door. So, it's a lot of fun to get these guys out. It's not as difficult as the older ones in back in the day, but the problem is, once again, everything's made out of plastic, 90%. And of course, by doing so, they guarantee you're going to come back and see them within a couple of years to buy more components, which are usually dealer only. So there's a little insight on a '04 Jeep Liberty. Of course, this basically covers a lot of vehicles because of the plastic that's put into these vehicles, makes them more susceptible to break and fail, which means you're going to be paying for more parts. So anyway, I hope that's explained a little bit about these vehicles. So if you have a question about your Jeep Liberty or any other question for a vehicle that you might have, leave me a comment down at the bottom of the page, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So until next time, this is Jeff Williams from AskJeffWilliams.com saying keep cool and keep those comments coming. Take care.